Hey everyone, it's Anna. I'm really excited for our special guest today. Here with me today is an online learning consultant. Her name is Mary Ellen Roth, and she's also a CRP member. And we are going to be talking about how to overcome the overwhelm of creating your first online course, as well as some technical options that you might be interested in as well. So this is a really important topic because I know I've taken a lot of online courses that were not well structured, and you could tell that they were just winging it and putting things up. And I think the content we're going to share with you today is going to be really important to help you create a great online course. You're talking to the right person here. She has a background in creating content and curriculum and these online courses, and so she knows her stuff. So I'm really excited to introduce you guys all to Mary Ellen Roth. Welcome, Mary Ellen.
Hey, Anna. Nice to see you.
Yes.
Glad to be here today.
Hi, everyone. Okay. So let's dive in. We surveyed you guys. We saw what you wanted to hear. So we're going to talk about all the stuff you want to hear. And the very first thing that people said they wanted to learn about was kind of how to get up and running and decrease the overwhelm of creating their online course. So what can you share with us, Mary Ellen, to help us out?
Well, I've also done surveys in the past, and that has come up a lot. So my course that I teach, called Teach What You Love, is I have a workbook people do called What's My Course Workbook, and that's the pre-work. And if you've been in CRP and worked with Anna, then you probably are really familiar with her Passion and Purpose Planner. And that's sort of the pre-work for doing what I do, and that is, of course, we want to know why we do what we do. And so I kind of take it a step from there, and I use the law of attraction to help you get really clear on what it is that you want to manifest for your course. So you're already pretty much, you know why you're here, what your purpose and your passion is for starting your own business. But so what are you going to do? What are you going to teach your course on? And you're the expert. You're the one that has the expertise. And I think I read somewhere that if you've read at least 3 books on any topic, you're considered an expert. So I think we're already pretty much past that point. For me, I know most about online teaching and learning, and I've taught most of my life. I've taught different subjects. So you know your subject, and so you're really highly educated, and you've spent most of your career, or at least the last few years, really focusing in on what's really important to you. So the first 3 steps to kind of narrowing that down into a course is for me, for you to start. I can see Anna's vision board right behind her.
Okay.
So, take a few minutes and sit down and look at your vision board if you already have one. If not, just start making a list of what your life will look like when you are teaching online and you've manifested your whole online business, and your life is really going to change. And what is that going to look like for you? And are you excited about adding new skills and knowledge to people's lives? And if so, what are those skills and what are the knowledge? And, maybe you could just look back at what was the most important factors that got you where you are today. And you can start there. So I just start, it's really all about handwriting. This is just a side note, but I just went to this Entrepreneurs Network a week ago here in Aspen. And the guest speaker was a guy who, he's built 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. Not the last one, but the one before that, he built it, bootstrapped it, and sold it for $110 million. And then he, did the same thing over again. And then he did the same thing over again. So here he is, he's not even 40. He's living in some amazing home in Aspen. I don't know what, but he's here because he wants to live the dream life and raise his kids in a really healthy place. So everybody's in the room going like, oh my God, what's he going to tell us? What's he going to tell us? What's he going to tell us? What's the big secret? He wakes up every morning, he gets out his journal, and he handwrites his intentions for the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the secret. That's the secret, Mary Ellen.
And then he takes this little piece of paper out of his pocket and he unfolds it and he goes, and I read this to myself every morning, this whole thing. And everybody's like, well, what is it? What is it? It was all of these, positive mindset affirmations from Wayne Dyer. I mean, my jaw just hung open. And this just shows us that, Anna, what you're doing, you are just, you have, I guess you just are leading us at the best possible time, in the best possible way, really, because this stuff works. It's brain science now. People are doing study after study that it's all about having a positive mindset. So
definitely. And I think it wraps too into the course you're teaching too. Like, you're taking people from one place to the next. And so you kind of want to do the vision for them too, and set that vision from start to finish. So it totally fits into the people you're teaching too.
Yeah. So after you kind of have that vision mapped out for yourself, you just want to start believing it. You need to know, what are their needs. You can do simple surveys. Like, I like to use SurveyMonkey, put some questions out there and find out what your clients really need to know right now. Today, we're talking about, overcoming overwhelm to start your first online course. Okay. So this is what I can speak to today. I've been there, and so I certainly can help you walk into the next step. So, the best thing I learned about believing is to actually feel it and bring that down into your heart. And my friend Arielle Ford has a great, there's a free YouTube out there that she does called her Feelingization. And I can share that link for you, but it's easy to find. It's just on YouTube. And if you just Google Arielle Ford Feelingization Guided Meditation, it's less than 5 minutes, and it's just a different way of moving from your head into your heart, and that really connects so much better. And then you can just start receiving those ideas, where that old paradigm of like the harder, faster worker isn't always the person that's going to succeed anymore. We've moved beyond that. So, have faith that these steps really do work.
Yeah.
And believe that it will happen. And then it's just time to start receiving all of those ideas. Step away from it, go for a walk, pick up your babies from preschool and drive along the beach, play in the sand for a few minutes, and then come back to it, and your ideas will start coming to you. And your ideas for your first course can be really simple. We don't have to start. We'll talk about course technology in a minute, but right now, authentic learning can be even doing a simple video and posting that and asking for feedback. We're all familiar with using Facebook groups, so, starting to create your own community that way, and sharing valuable information that your clients will benefit from. Those are all really simple ways to just get that flow of authentic learning going, and you'll start making that connection, and then the clarity will come to you about, the whole course. You'll just start to see it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can outline it. I mean, creating something, it takes a lot too. It's not just something, you can put together that quickly too. So I like how everyone I think here wants to start right away and know the technology stuff. They're can't wait till we get to that part. Right. But I think it's really good that you're just making wait, let's make sure we have the right vision of where we want to be, where we want to take our potential students. And that's just the foundation. So I love that you're stopping everyone at this point.
I am. You really need to just, you really need to stay connected to what it is they really need from you and the message that you have. Because as you know, it's just so distracting. As soon as you get online and start researching these things, the overwhelm will set in really fast. Trust me, I've been there. And you just keep thinking, I should do that. And you start chasing that. And then you get off course.
Yeah. You kind of have to put the blinders on when you're creating your course. Even, it's not like, oh, they're doing this. It's like, no, I'm here to create this, to serve the world in this way. And so you do have to focus in on what that gift is.
Yeah. And you say that really well, Anna. You really tell us that we are so unique. Yeah. Each one of us is completely 100% unique. So
yeah.
Our courses are going to be unique, and we don't have to try to be like anybody else.
Mm-hmm. And you're focusing too, I like that you said you're focusing on the market research and the surveys, because you could just stop at like, and I've done this before where I just create, but it's not really what people want. So it's matching what they want on those surveys to what your vision is and where you're taking them.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be operating in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have to get out there and talk to real people. And if you don't have a list yet, just start talking to your friends and start meeting people who need your help and ask and interview them and ask them questions. And that will lead to the next thing that you need to do.
Yes, definitely. So have we done all the pre-work here, or like what's the next step?
Yeah, your pre-work. Okay, so your pre-work is done.
Okay, that's moving on.
Well, that's the juicy stuff. Okay, so now you're going to have it on your board. I love it that you have your vision board right behind you. That's really great.
Yeah, it's kind of like my inspiration board with like my favorite colors and like where I want my brand to go and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a great background too.
It is. It's your colors.
My colors.
So my course starts with clarity, and then I help my students get really creative and how to add really good visual design and sequence their materials for learning. But, of course, we get to that point of like, okay, what's the technology? How are my students going to learn? And I kind of have divided into 3 different groups. So beginners would be like if you just did your planner that we just talked about, and you're just starting.
So if you're just in phase 1, you just did the purpose planner in phase 1, you're beginner.
Yeah. But you really want to teach. You're like me. You're like, I really want to teach.
Yes, me.
So you can do a course using emails. It doesn't have to be fancy. You can send out attachments to your email of the material that you want to share with them. You want them to learn it, and send it out as an attachment to an email, and then pose questions for them and ask them, simply share, how has that affected me this week? Or, how can I use this information to make a change this week? Something really basic like that. Another way you can do a simple course is you can record at home using your iPhone or your laptop, and just make really short videos. You don't want to make any video longer than 8 minutes. People's attention span is really short, but you can save them to YouTube. That's a place where you can store them. You can switch it on so that it's private and it's not shared with the public. And you can do a series of 3 videos and then have worksheets. Again, you can do this using your emails.
Easy.
Yeah, right?
Anyone can do that.
Anybody can figure this out, you know. Another way to do a short course would be to do a series of live webinars, free conference calls. You can try Zoom or Google Hangouts. I've been using Google Hangouts with my students. Get people together, just maybe speak for 10 or 15 minutes on a topic and then get them to give you feedback. And always think about ways have them think about ways that they can immediately apply that information to their lives. Because adults are all about like applicable learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to have to like take it home and store it on a shelf for later. They want to know, how can I use this today? How is this going to make my life better this week?
Yes, and you don't want to overwhelm them too. I think that's something I've learned as a teacher in the online learning too, is you don't have to tell them everything right away. It's small steps, just like how I say baby steps. It's like you want to take them through baby steps too.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, so those are some things, if you want to do live, you can do the live webinar, or the conference calls, or something like this that we're using today. And then the other ways to do it would be a recorded webinar that they can listen to, or recorded videos, or emails. Okay. Use your survey tools for sure. And you can even use survey tools at the end of each session. Like if you're going to do you could do a mini 3-week course or 2-week course. Send out your video, send out your information as an attachment to your email, and then use SurveyMonkey to get them to reply and give you feedback on what they learned each week.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good. Yeah, you want to be using their feedback in creating the course, because then you can just make it better.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, are you ready for the intermediates?
Yes, I am.
All right, you guys. All right. So you guys have done a little of the technology. You're not afraid to move forward. I know a lot of your audience, Anna, is younger. I'm trying to help women older than 40. I have a few women in their 60s right now who are amazing fitness coaches, but they've been, working out, teaching spinning classes, taking people on hikes, and they don't want to spend their time at the computer, and they're pretty behind the learning curve on most things. And I learned that recently because one of them couldn't. Every week she would ask me, where's the link to the course? I said, you need to bookmark it. What's a book? How do you bookmark something? So I got on live with my Google Hangouts, and I turned the screen around so that I could show her how to do it. So you can't assume people know anything. You really have to know where they are with their technology when you're going to be teaching online. That's the other thing.
That's important.
Make no assumptions. And that's fine. She didn't know how to bookmark something. So what? She's a fabulous fitness trainer.
Yeah.
And that's her expertise. Okay, so that just, gives you an idea that you need to know where people are with their technology. So that's why for intermediate people, if that's what you want to call them, that, or phase 2, they're going to use one of these course technologies that's already sort of done for you. And I'm talking about Teachable, Ruzuku, or Zenler. And those are all really highly rated platforms, and everything is pretty much already done for you. The way you pay for it is there's some limit of free use. But if you really plan on doing one course and then another course and growing your courses, which I hope you will be doing, you will have to pay either a small monthly fee, that you either pay them a monthly fee or they take a percentage off of your course sales. And these, did you have a question?
I was going to say another way you could do it is a Facebook group. I think I've had one of my mastermind partners did her course in a Facebook group and did Facebook Lives too. So. Oh,
good. Okay. Yeah. So that's taking it, and that's
like a private group. Yeah, that's free.
Completely free. Okay. Right. Wow. That's a good idea. That's the first time I've heard of that.
Yeah. Because then you can upload files into a Facebook group, in a private Facebook group too.
And you can do polls now, as we know.
Yeah.
You can upload your documents. And you can save your videos too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were those 3 options again? Just the Ruzuko. That's where I started, by the way. Ruzuko.
Right. Anna's used Zuko.
Yes.
Ruzuko. I've used Zenler.
Zenler. Okay.
Zenler. And I'm also using Teachable.
Teachable. Okay. Awesome. So those are three great choices for you guys.
Yeah. And they're constantly making improvements.
Yeah.
So if you Google them and then you're reading articles about them, even from like a year or two ago, that all three of them have made vast improvements.
That's great.
In their capabilities since then. So you really have to get on there yourself and get the chat and find out what it is exactly. Because like some of them didn't have the live discussion groups, and already they're building that in.
Oh, so, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to send, because there's always the risk, like if you have your Facebook group as your private discussion group, there's always a risk people are leaving the course platform, they're going out to Facebook to your discussion group, and then
looking at pets and getting distracted. Yes.
They might never come back. You might never see them again.
Yes. There's definitely a pros and cons to the Facebook group.
Right.
Pros, people are there. Cons, they can get distracted with other things, and organization is kind of hard in a Facebook group too. You miss stuff that we posted a year ago, because it's way at the bottom.
Yeah. And once your group gets more than 10, it's really hard to lose things, as you say, because you're scrolling, you're just looking at so much going back and forth, but you can search.
Yes.
So once you're in your group, there is a little bar where you can search by term or name to find something if you're not quite sure where it is. So that's helpful.
Yeah.
But, some of the features that you definitely want to look for are ways to store documents and video and, all sorts of materials, not just written documents, but audio tracks, video tracks, a capability for discussion, capability for quizzing too is also really good if you can.
Yeah. And Mary Ellen is teaching you the stuff that makes a great course. And there's a lot of, I said this in the beginning too, it is important to have, the audio, if you can, the worksheet, the video. So people learn in all different types of ways. That could be a whole nother talk. We'll do that later, but that's an important thing to remember.
Yes. And
she can talk about this for hours, I think.
And, I almost started by giving an overview about that. What is it? Are you doing an asynchronous course or a synchronous course? And an asynchronous course would be using Teachable. It's not live. Your students get their password. They can go in. They can do it anytime on their own time. The synchronous course is when you're there live in the room with your instructor at the same time. And some online courses are still doing that, but the majority of the casual learning that we're talking about, it's not academic. Most of that is asynchronous. So your learners, most of them have families and jobs, and so they're just turning on their computer whatever time is good for them, and all of your courses right there ready for them to do it when they can. Yeah.
And I think I teach in CRP2 is to do it live once with them, and then you can turn that into an evergreen one that they can do on their own later too.
Yeah. And I would myself, if I was paying money for a course, I still want to have some access live to the instructor.
Oh, I do too. Yes. I'm in a course right now, and he's doing Facebook Lives every day. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, he's there to answer questions every single day. Like
every day. Wow.
Yeah. Like for 10 minutes, but still, it's still like they're there, it's such a different thing.
No, that's fantastic. And that is actually another element. This is just kind of a sidebar, but it is an element, a really valuable element of your online courses to have student support and accessibility to you. So even though you're online, you can set up office hours, in other words, tell them you'll be available by Skype or email or text or phone or whatever, Thursdays 11 to 12.
Yes.
Yeah, because you always want to be trying to close that gap in the distance between you and your student.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, you always want them to feel part of the community of your course, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to just have them, what do you call that? Zing their Visa card.
Oh yeah, just pay and then take their money and run.
Take their money and run, and you never get to see me. No. No, Anna and I both believe strongly in being there and having that human element in our courses for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. We're on the same page there, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, so do you have any questions about using that type of technology?
I don't think so. I think the important thing about that is that there's a monthly fee, and that but you're paying for them to, those 3 options, you're paying for them to have a nice design. You don't have to worry about the technical stuff. There's a help desk, you know, all the stuff that the first time, that's why I jumped, you know, I went with Rizuko, because I knew I could get it out quicker with that support. They had everything there. It looked pretty, it looked nice, it looked professional, and it was super easy to get out the gate running.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And having that live tech support, not only for you, the instructor, when you're loading in all the materials, or if you load something in and it disappears and you need to find it really fast because your course is opening in 3 hours and need to have it all, you know, working. So yeah, that, and then of course the students also can get access to tech support too.
Yeah.
Get stuck.
And what tool would you use for webinars? Just the Google Hangout and the Zoom?
Yeah. Okay. Right now I'm all about using as many free tools as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're in the advanced, or we're still in the intermediate. Okay. So So I'll share, I'm all about free to Zoom. I think is amazing. We've used Instant Teleseminar for audios, and for webinars too.
Okay.
But there's a cost there, so.
Right. But, you know, as soon as you have run your course, and I'm glad that you used the word evergreen, because this is definitely, you know, you create your course, say it's an 8-week course. Once you create that is now a product that you have to keep selling over and over. You know, you run your whole course, you definitely get feedback. You take a look at what worked, what didn't work, get feedback from your students, make these changes, and then you're going to launch it again. So, you know, once you do 1 or 2 even iterations of the same course, then you're going to have some cash flow that you can start investing in some of these tools. And they're not expensive. I mean, I think that Instant Teleseminar, it's not very much.
I think it was maybe $50 a month or something like that.
It's not very much. And then you can record it right after and then doesn't it even automatically email the next day everybody who?
Yeah, you can send them. It might do that, actually. I don't know if that's a new change. I've been using them for years. To me, there's a chat box, there's a Q&A section. It's just super simple for me. I'm scared to change.
No, that's a really good one. I think you should stick with that one.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so
that's
what's the advanced?
Okay, advanced. Here we go. The advanced options are, also we're talking about coaches and consultants and people like ourselves who are starting out small businesses. So we don't necessarily have our own LMS, which is the learning management system, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have websites, but if you have a WordPress website, I would highly recommend using WordPress, and then using the plugins like Anna does.
Yeah.
Wishlist member, and Optimize Press. And those they take a little more of a financial investment. I think it's about $200 for each one of those plugins, but I think it's a one-time purchase. And then you're all set up. And it does take some professional knowledge to get it installed. And one of our other CRP members is Triva Marshall, and she and I are in the mastermind together, and we're going to be doing a webinar about that, because it's ideally is your best situation if you plan on doing courses in the long run. and you plan on growing your business and you plan on adding users and all, because once you have that all set up, it's completely integrated. Your mailing lists, your membership, you're taking your money, and you have much more control over everything. You have much more control over your design options, and you actually establish better authority having it all under one umbrella.
Yep, what she said.
Yeah, what she said. Right.
I did my first course on Rizuko and then transferred the content to Wishlist and paid. So I paid once, I think. When did I buy that? 2012. And I've never had to purchase it again. And I've used, how many courses have I created? And now I have 2 membership sites that are running on Wishlist member for that $200, you know, so long term
with you, right?
What?
And it grows with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm kind of I like having my brand and header and design and colors. And so for me, I was able to kind of learn and grow and teach myself it. But you're right. There's a little technical challenge there, which is why it's more of an advanced thing. It's not the first thing you start of, and you would need either to really take the time to learn it or obviously work with someone who knows what they're doing to guide you and help you. But you can pick it up. You don't need, like, we manage, John and I manage it ourselves now. And we have a developer if we have any issues, but she doesn't do any of the wish list stuff or anything like that. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Stable. I mean, because with Teachable and Rizuku, you can brand your own PDFs, but the overall course site you cannot brand. You can personalize it somewhat, but it's not yours. And that's fine. And some of your students aren't even going to notice it.
No.
They have no idea that it says
no idea.
anarunyon.teachable.com.
They have no idea.
No. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
But now the only exception to this is if you're in industry that has some sort of a compliance training. Like if you teach, well, the one that comes to mind is there's a lot of recovery coaches now, people that are doing any kind of counseling, and they have to be state certified. Any kind of training like that where you have to have compliance with the state or get licensing, you need to use you need to invest in a real learning management software so that you can check on the back end. Have they taken the course? Are they progressing? Have they passed the test? Have they passed the quizzes? What's their score?
Yeah.
That kind of thing, if you need to be concerned with that. But I think most of us are just in this for that casual learning, which is the most fulfilling. I mean, adults are so self-motivated and so self-directed that formal education, I have to tell you,
not so sure about that.
Yeah, was it worth my, I went back and I have 2012, I got my master's degree. I have spent the last 4 years learning as much on my own time as I did during the time that I studied for my master's degree. And I don't have any student loans to pay back for all of this knowledge that I have.
Yeah, same with me. I got my MBA too, and I feel like I've designed my own MBA after I got my MBA.
Exactly. I mean, that's the world we live in now,
Yeah. And it just shows how much more online courses are out there. I mean, the opportunity, I think this is a great kind of, do you still have more to cover, or okay. I think this is a great time to kind of bring it back of the opportunity that is available to you all listening, of creating an online course right now. It's like, we just covered how you can do it. Like, it's not that difficult. It's not that hard. There's, we're here to support you as well. And so I think, the time is now. Everything is online, and there's so many opportunities to teach what you have it in your head, you just got to get it out.
That's right. And if you're driven by your purpose and your passion, then you know exactly what the next indicated step is.
Exactly.
It's just, the path just starts paving itself for you. It's very exciting.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think like, and the next thing too, they're going to probably, well, we might have to do a whole nother training on it, which is actually like going about selling your course too. But I had to do a shout out to you because you recently were just on a phone call with just a networking contact, right? And something awesome happened on just like a call that you weren't even trying to sell on, right?
I know. It was amazing. I had done my course launch and I was kind of disappointed with my sales. And so I actually had a little chat with Anna, and she encouraged me to do the authentic networking planner, which is in one of our modules. And I got it out and made a little table for myself. And one of the courses I had taken for myself this summer, I had noticed that one of the coaches lived in the town next door to me. So I was like, okay, so I put her name on the networking planner. And because I wanted to connect with this woman as a woman who I held in esteem for having a lot of knowledge and an ability to help thousands of women with her expertise. So it's like, this is really someone I want to learn. I want to meet. So I emailed her and I finally got her on the phone and we started chatting, and we were on the phone for well over half an hour. And then she finally asked me what it was that I did. And I told her about this course I was teaching to help women over 40 who are consultants teach what they love online. And she goes, "Oh my God, I need to take your course." And she paid for my course during our phone conversation. I was so excited.
Awesome. That's
I
awesome.
can't believe that happened.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah. And what I think is cool too is you had done everything we talked about of like really researching your market and creating this course. So you had this offer all ready to go, and you knew what to say. You knew what her frustrations were and all the things. And you just said it, we were so confident because you had done your homework.
that's true. That's true. The flow of what it is that I do now is coming so much more easily to me.
Definitely. Well, congratulations. So
Thanks,
I think, that's just empowering and encouraging to everyone here too, that like just taking those steps. I've watched Mary Ellen, in facing these obstacles that you guys are facing right here too. I've had the same obstacles too. And so it's just taking that step then to have this course so that you can, when you're on a call with someone you admire, they end up taking your course.
Yeah. Yay, CRP.
Yay. Awesome. So share with us how they can learn more about you and any last words of wisdom that you have, Mary Ellen.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can check out my website, maryellenroth.org. And that's .org. I will be launching my next course in January, so please check in with me on that, and I'm sure I'll be sharing more with the group about that as the weeks get closer. And remember, when you're teaching online, you're not on the internet, you're dealing with humans, and so you have to be really cognizant of how you speak to them. Make them feel welcome, make them feel part of your community. I mean, it's all about community building and communication and having open channels that they can reach you and ask you questions. And I just can't repeat how important that is to people.
They're real people. It's not a dollar bill, it's not a payment online, it's not a PayPal order, but it is this person, it's a human being. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me, Mary Ellen. I'm excited to get this out to people as quickly as possible. I think it's going to really help push them forward. So please let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you guys in the Facebook group.
Yay.
Bye, everyone.